Southampton have been relegated. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. That is correct. After today's Premier League games, it has been confirmed that Southampton have been confirmed as being relegated down to the Championship for next season. The writing had seemingly been on the wall for a while that Southampton want to be doomed to be going down back to the second tier of English football, and that is exactly how it has happened. Failure to beat Fulham today has resulted in Southampton being confirmed as being relegated. It is official. They will be playing Championship football for next season. We're going to be taking a look back at Southampton's season, looking at the way that things have gone for them over the course of this campaign. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things always would be greatly appreciated. And also encourage you to get involved in the comment section as well. I'm sure you've got a lot of interesting thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, that will make for great reading down below on Southampton and the season that has been for the Saints in terms of them now being confirmed as being relegated and all of that good stuff, I'm sure. But before we go without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk Southampton. Let's talk their official confirmation of relegation down to the Championship today. Look, it hasn't really been close, has it? We've all kind of felt this was coming for a while. We all kind of had an inkling that Southampton will be the ones to get relegated for some time now. Like I said before, the writing had seemingly been on the wall for a while. But of course, today it has been mathematically confirmed that there is no way back for Southampton this campaign in terms of maintaining their Premier League status. And that after 36 games, the Saints have been relegated after what has been an 11-year stay in the Premier League. Being part of the furniture, I guess you'd say, in terms of Premier League survival. And even though for the past couple of years I've always said that maybe, just maybe, they should be considered as being relegation candidates, this season I said, nah, because every time I back them to be relegation candidates, they tend to go on and have a bit of a middle of the road sort of season, not pulling up any trees, but just surviving by any means necessary. And then of course the one season that I don't back them to do that, they of course get relegated. So that's just the way my prediction has gone. And Jesus Christ, if I was to look over my predictions for the season, I don't really want to be honest, because they were pretty awful. But yes, as I was saying, Southampton relegated after 36 games. There is quite a fair bit that contributed towards why that occurred. Dreadful home form, first and foremost. Absolutely dreadful home form. I think they've lost the most home games in a single campaign, and that you just can't do. I've always said, and everybody else always says it as well. It's not just me. I'm not like groundbreaking with what I'm about to say here, but everyone always says your home form should be your fortress. Your home form should be your platform to build your season upon. And obviously, if you can't even get your home form right, what chance have you got of going forward? Look at Nottingham Forest, for example. They look very good at home. They look better at home than they are away. And the reason they are still within the fight, or well, their away form is the reason that their Premier League survival isn't confirmed, but their home form is giving them a very good chance of making that survival, or that hope of survival, a reality. So that is something that should be considered there. Defensively, they are a shambles. They have, I believe, the 16th, 17th worst Premier League defensive record this season. It just can't be happening. You can't have that and be going down, essentially. Like you can't have that kind of record and expect to be staying up, is what I'm trying to say there. It's just absolutely dreadful. I think they've conceded 4 goals in several games this season, 4+ goals in several games. You can't be getting battered like that week in, week out. It's just no wonder why things have turned out the way they have done. They're without a win in their last 11 or 12 Premier League games. Again, a run like that, that's only asking for one thing: relegation. That is relegation form. That is dreadful. And they failed to score in about 14 or 15 Premier League games this season. Again, goal scoring has been a problem for them. Defensively has been a problem for them. If you've got problems at either end of the pitch, you're of course going to be relegated and going to be doomed in this division. Southampton, I think, have only scored about 31, maybe 32 plus goals this season. I think only Wolves have scored less. So they have got a pretty poor record when it comes to both scoring goals and in terms of conceding them as well. And overall, those are the kind of factors that obviously go into a relegation fight. And obviously, if they're not going for you, relegation down to the Championship is the only way to go. And looking at how they've chopped and changed managers a couple of times this season, not making the best appointments, even their transfers have been pretty questionable. They've brought in some pretty, I wouldn't say completely unknown players, but at the same time, they were players that didn't really have a lot of Premier League experience, not a lot of experience themselves. It might set themselves up good for the long term if they can obviously keep some of those players, but a lot of them just didn't really hit the ground running, or the gamble didn't really pay off on a lot of them. There is Lavia, who I thought looks a very good player, looks a solid player, but again, going down to the Championship, having been a bright light in an otherwise dark season for Southampton, can they keep him in the Championship in order to help them be brought back up straight away at the first time of asking for next campaign in the Championship? I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. And then, of course, their talisman, James Ward-Prowse. I imagine there's going to be a fair bit of interest from some Premier League clubs now that obviously Southampton have been relegated down to the Championship. I imagine it obviously depends on his loyalty. It depends if he wants to stay at his boyhood club, of course. But I would imagine that Southampton might have to put off a few phone calls from some Premier League clubs asking about or inquiring about maybe getting his services for the next campaign for the foreseeable future. So there are a couple there that maybe Southampton can keep. There are a few that maybe Southampton are going to have to try and persuade to stay for the future. But the fact of the matter is that some poor transfer business, poor recruitment in managers hasn't helped their season, along with obviously things on the pitch in terms of their home form, in terms of their defensive shambolic defending, and in terms of their lack of goal scoring as well. It really hasn't helped Southampton at all during this campaign. And it's been very interesting to see how it's all unfolded and everything. But when you look back across Southampton's stay, this was always going to be a possibility. You think about the way that they built themselves back up, put themselves back into the Premier League through promotion and everything. And then, of course, the way that they had a lot of good players when they first hit the Premier League, and how their squad has been ripped apart by all of these teams, bigger teams coming in and taking their star players and everything. That has happened across the past decade, and it's always difficult when you're the smaller team in that aspect. You've got to make sure your recruitment is on point. But the more you do it, obviously, the more likely then it will become that the recruitment just ultimately doesn't work. And you can see that this season with the way that they've tried to recruit, but their recruitment hasn't worked. Their gambles haven't paid off. One or two of them look bright. One or two of them look like they have a bit of potential about them. But at the same time, one or two of them can't keep you from being relegated down to the Championship. And that is ultimately what has happened here. In terms of what happens going forward, do they get a new manager? Do they keep the majority of their squad? Does their squad get ripped apart again and have to be rebuilt? And there are a lot of questions that are needed to be asked of this Southampton side going forward. A lot of questions that obviously need to be, a lot of things that need to be addressed, and a lot of things that will need to be looked at as they start to look towards life back in the Championship after over a decade of being in England's top flight division. it is possible, and you would consider them one of the favourites to obviously bounce back up, maybe do a bit of a Burnley in terms of going down and coming straight back up like a yo-yo. But it depends on who they can keep, what they do with that squad, who they bring in as a manager. Do they go with someone who is more Championship, maybe Premier League level proven? Do they go with someone else? Do they stick with what they've got? Do they go... There's a lot of possibilities, I'll say that. There's a lot of possibilities as to the way that Southampton can go about this stuff. And obviously it remains to be seen what happens going forward. But what we do know is that today is the day that it has been officially confirmed that Southampton will be back in the Championship for next season, playing Championship football after going down to the Championship after being relegated in the Premier League for this campaign. And those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Southampton's season and the relegation that has been confirmed today at the hands of Fulham? I want to know what you guys think, feel, your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, down below in the comment section, because I'm sure it'll make for interesting reading on this particular news topic. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up, enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll see you all again soon in another video.